it's looking back retrospectively. So two interesting things. I had a difficult, complex childhood with different carers and whatever. And I look back and I always think that's part of the reason I'm involved in this storytelling thing, was I'm just interested in this thing which we haven't really touched on in this conversation so much, about how people use narrative to shape a sense of identity for themselves, and how that might be less and more challenging in different circumstances, which probably has a lot of impact on well-being. But alongside that, in positive, I have an absolute sort of totally vivid memory of going at 7 years old for the very first time to visit relatives in Ireland, and realizing, even as a 7-year-old, that there was a completely different culture. So I was coming out of having been put in a very middle class, very Scottish, very uptight kind of family situation, with a huge emphasis on academic, on religious, on whatever, where you did not talk about things. And in Ireland, somehow they talked about everything. Everything was talked about. And it was a culture in which story was constantly part of the everyday weave. And people were using those stories to deal with difficult as well as positive things. Because, rural County Derry there was been a lot of troubles, and I realised, I absolutely, at 7 years old, I thought, there's something going on here that I've just never experienced in Scotland. And after that, I managed to wangle getting over to Ireland every summer, right through teenage and early adult. So yes, so I think. So I think sometimes there are these light bulb moments where people at the right time in the right place just sort of experience this warmth of acceptance and sharing in the storytelling thing, and think, yeah. So looking back, that was just as a child, 7 years old, and it was a world that kind of, there was all sorts, everything was built into a bit of a drama, which was interesting in terms of everyday life, and the marvels and the troubles of everyday life I lived through. So that's what it comes down to, isn't it? We have to get up in the morning, or try and get up in the morning, get on with it one way or another.
Indeed.
Is that appropriate? Is
yes,
that okay?
That's marvellous.
Yeah.